If your money is just sitting in your bank account right now, you might actually be getting poorer every single day. Sounds strange, right? But here in the jungle, even Money Monkey knows one simple rule. Money that sleeps gets eaten. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to wake it up and put it to work like a disciplined little monkey that brings you more bananas every single year. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Money Monkey. I'm your host, your favorite banana-loving investor, sitting here at my wooden desk, surrounded by charts, cash, and a laptop that somehow still works, even in 90% jungle humidity. Now let me ask you something. What are you doing with your money right now? Are you saving it, spending it, or just letting it sit there, doing absolutely nothing? Because that's exactly what most beginners do. And honestly, I understand why. Investing feels complicated. There are charts moving up and down, people talking about markets crashing. Strange words like ETFs, dividends, volatility. It feels like a completely different world. But here's the truth. Investing is not complicated. It's only made to look complicated. And once you understand a few basic rules, everything becomes simple. So simple that even a monkey figured it out. And if Money Monkey can do it, you can too. Let's start with the biggest problem. Most people believe saving money is enough. You work hard, you earn money, you put it in the bank. Sounds responsible. Sounds safe. But there's a hidden problem. Inflation. Inflation quietly reduces the value of your money over time. You don't see it directly, but you feel it. Groceries get more expensive. Fuel costs more. That coffee you used to buy for $5 is now closer to $8 or $9. Same coffee, same cup, but your money buys less. That means if your money is just sitting in your account, it is losing purchasing power every single year. Money Monkey calls this the invisible banana thief. You don't see him, but he keeps taking small bites. So what's the solution? You invest. Because investing allows your money to grow over time instead of shrink. Now let's keep this very simple. There are two main ways your money grows when you invest. The first one is ownership. When you buy a stock, you are buying a small piece of a business. If that business becomes more valuable, your investment becomes more valuable. If it earns more money, expands, creates new products, your share grows with it. That's it. No magic. Just ownership. The second way, and this is where things become powerful, is compound growth. This is when your money makes money, and then that money makes more money. And then that money continues to grow on top of itself. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. At the beginning, it's small. But as it rolls, it gets bigger and faster. Money Monkey likes to think of it like bananas growing on a tree. At first, you plant one tree. Then that tree produces bananas. Then you plant more trees. And over time, you have an entire jungle. That's how wealth is built. Slowly, then suddenly. But here's where most beginners make a mistake. They try to get rich fast. They chase the hottest stock. They follow trends. They hear about something that went up and they jump in too late. And that's risky. Because just because something performed well in the past does not mean it will continue to do so. Markets change. Companies change. And hype comes and goes. So instead of trying to pick the perfect company, smart investors use a simpler strategy. They invest in ETFs. An ETF is a collection of many companies in one investment. Instead of betting everything on one business, you spread your investment across hundreds of them. That means if one company struggles, it does not destroy your entire portfolio. You still have many others supporting your investment. This is called diversification, or in simple jungle language. Don't put all your bananas in one basket, especially if that basket is held by a very clumsy monkey. Now let's talk about how this works in real life. When you invest in a broad market, ETF, you are investing in many large companies at the same time. Different industries, different sectors, different sources of income. This gives you stability and long-term growth potential. And historically, broad stock markets have grown over long periods of time. Not every year, not every month, but over decades. That's the key word, time, because time is what makes investing work. Now let's make this practical with numbers. Let's say you invest $1,000 every month. Not a crazy amount, something realistic for many people. And let's assume an average long-term return of around 8 to 10% per year. After several years, your portfolio starts growing. At first, it feels slow, maybe even boring. But then something changes. Your returns start generating their own returns, and the growth accelerates. After around 6 years, you could be approaching 100,000. And then the next 100,000 comes faster, because now your money is doing more of the work. Eventually, your investments may grow by tens of thousands per year without you increasing your contribution. That's compound growth in action. But here's the important part. This only works if you stay invested. Because the biggest mistake people make is panic. The market drops. They get scared. They sell. And just like that, they lock in losses. Let me explain something important. Markets go up and they go down. That's normal. That's expected. There have been crashes in the past, and there will be crashes in the future. But historically, markets have recovered over time. That doesn't mean there are guarantees, but it does show a clear long-term trend, upward. So if you sell during a downturn, you turn a temporary drop into a permanent loss. But if you stay invested, you give your money time to recover and grow. Money Monkey once panicked and sold too early. Let's just say that monkey learned a very expensive lesson. Now let's talk about when you should start investing. Before you jump in, there are 2 important things to check. First, high interest debt. If you have very high interest rates, paying that off should come first, because that interest works against you. Second, you need an emergency fund. Life happens. Unexpected expenses, car repairs, medical bills, job changes. If you don't have a safety net, you might be forced to sell your investments at the worst possible time, and that's exactly what you want to avoid. Once these 2 things are in place, you're ready to start. And here's something many people don't realize. You don't need a lot of money. You can start small. 50, 100, 200 per month. The amount is not the most important factor. Consistency is. Invest regularly, month after month, year after year. That's how wealth is built. Not through one big investment, but through many small ones over time. Also, only invest money you don't need in the near future, because the market can be unpredictable in the short term. If you need the money soon, you don't want to risk being forced to sell at a loss. So think long term. 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. That's the mindset. And one more thing. Ignore the noise. There will always be headlines. Market fear, market hype, predictions, opinions. But most of it doesn't matter. What matters is your strategy, your consistency, your patience. Focus on what you can control, and let time do the rest. So here's the truth. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need thousands to start. You just need to begin. Because the longer you wait, the more time you lose. And time is the most powerful tool in investing. Money Monkey understands this very well. That's why he's not just sitting here eating bananas. He's investing them, growing them, multiplying them. Because in the end, wealth is not built overnight. It is built slowly, steadily, over years. And if you stay consistent, stay patient, and keep things simple, you put yourself in a position that most people never reach. So before you leave, YouTube is about to show you another video. And trust me, you want to watch it, because the next lesson might be exactly what you need to take your next step. This is Money Monkey, and I'll see you in the next video. Monkey Money Bag.